Welcome back to another episode of Digital Marketing 101 for Latinas. I am your host and your coach, Heidy de la Cruz. And before we get started, I just wanted to give a little shout out to Laura. She sent me a message and she told me how she was binge listening to the episodes and just how much she's enjoyed listening to the episodes and all the value that they have been providing. And so, shout out to Laura. Thank you so much for your support and for listening. And if you would like to leave a comment or send me a message on any of the episodes and your takeaway, please do so. I would love to give you a shout out as well. You can also leave a review on Apple Podcasts or a rating on Spotify. And also Buzzsprout, my podcast host, they have an option to leave a message or like a text. So you should see something in the show notes that lets you send a message. So go ahead and send me a message. I believe it's a text message. I've never used that feature before because my other podcast is hosted on a different platform. So I would love to get messages from my listeners. That is so cool. All right. So today we're in a little mini series of the different aspects of digital marketing, right? So I had a episode about blogging, how to start a blog, how to monetize your blog, and then also SEO was another episode, which is another aspect of digital marketing. So I shared everything about SEO, what it is, how to format your blog to be able to rank on Google. And so today we are going to be talking about social media. So obviously social media is a big part of digital marketing, and we are going to be talking about different platforms of social media, the pros, the cons, and what the content really is, like the main content for that platform, because different platforms do different things, right? So we're going to be talking about TikTok, we're going to be talking about Instagram, we're going to be talking about Facebook, X, which used to be called Twitter, Threads, and LinkedIn. Now, I am not going to be talking about Pinterest on this episode because Pinterest is technically not a social media platform. Pinterest is like its own search engine to with pins, right? To be able to find ideas and things like that, and like recipes and stuff. So Pinterest is its own platform, but it's technically not a social media platform, which is why I'm not going to include it in this episode. It would actually have its own dedicated episode, so stay tuned for that. And so, yeah, so let's get started on the different social media platforms. And I'm also going to be sharing about my experience with the platforms that I've used. And I think of all the ones that I've named, yes, I have actually used all the ones. So I'll share a little bit about my experience using each of those platforms. So let's get started with TikTok. So, TikTok is a short form video platform where users can create, edit, and share videos. They're typically 15 seconds long to up to 10 minutes long. So, it actually does qualify as long form content because long form content is 5 minutes or more, which again, that will actually have another dedicated episode. But let's just stick with these short form content platforms. So, TikTok is known for its powerful algorithm and leading to a high level of engagement. And it's definitely known for keeping people on on its platform just scrolling, right? Because like it just goes on and on and on and on. So the content is often creative, entertaining, and driven by trends, popular music, and sound bites. So trends now start on TikTok and then they eventually make their way to Instagram. So it's like when something is trending on Instagram, that means that it was already trending on TikTok. So, pros and cons with using TikTok. So, pros, you have a higher chance of going viral on TikTok because the algorithm allows content for anyone, regardless of their follower count, to go viral and reach a massive audience. Creativity and expression. So it's literally a hub for creative expression, comedy, dance, and unique content creation. So I'm sure you have seen people on TikTok dancing and things like that. Although you don't have to do that if you don't want to. I certainly do not dance on TikTok. That's just not the type of content that I create. So don't worry, you don't have to do that. So, entertainment. So, there is a For You page which provides constant stream of highly entertaining and personalized content just for you, right? So, I don't know if you've heard that people say, like, oh, what side of TikTok are you on? So, like, are you on the podcaster TikTok? Are you on the pop culture TikTok? Are you on the poems TikTok? So, like, there's different sides of TikTok that you can land on just depending on like what you engage with and things like that. And then that's where your For You page comes into play. So, learning and awareness. So, the platform is also used for educational content, raising awareness about social issues, and sharing life hacks. So, again, there's been a lot of people saying, like, oh, I learned this on TikTok, or I found this on TikTok, or, just staying up to date with current events that people have posted on TikTok. So, those are the pros with using TikToks. I'm going to share the cons, and then I'm going to share my experience with using TikTok. So, some of the cons. So, it does have an addictive nature, but I think that goes with all social media platforms because honestly, they are all created to keep you on the platform as long as possible, right? So, this con is not just for TikTok, it's literally for all social media platforms. So, the algorithm on TikTok is designed to keep users scrolling, which again, that goes with all of the platforms, which can be highly addictive and lead to excess screen time. So I don't know if you know that your phone does track how much screen time you use. And so you can see like how long you've been on your phone and things like that. So I try to, it's kind of hard for me because my business is online, like having an online business. So I feel like every time I'm on my phone or on social media, like I'm really marketing or working, so because I've shifted from using social media from a personal use to more of a business and personal brand use. So it is sometimes hard as an online business owner to not be on social media as much because that's literally where your business is. And so I do try to control my screen time as much as I can, especially with having family time, right? So when I am together with my family, we're spending family time, like I really try not to be on my phone unless I'm trying to get a picture just for us or like a video, but I really try to be intentional with that. Or if I'm spending one-on-one time with my husband, like I really try to be intentional and not be on my phone to make sure that we're having that quality time, right? So that's something that one should be aware of, especially with starting an online business where you are using social media to market your online business. Okay, so some another con is inappropriate content. While efforts are made to moderate, the platform can contain inappropriate content, including suggestive or harmful material, which can be a concern for younger users. I haven't seen inappropriate content on TikTok. I'm probably just not on that side of TikTok, but with anything online, we definitely do want to be careful of what we are consuming, what we are looking at, and the whole with younger users, that's a whole separate conversation. If you allow your kids to be on TikTok or like what age they should be, that's a whole separate thing. So it's just what Google Gemini has given me. So privacy and security concerns. Oh, no, no, no. Not getting into that. Okay, next thing, negative impact on mental health. So, the curated and often unrealistic content can lead to issues with body image, self esteem, social comparison, particularly among younger people. So, actually, I had a negative impact on my mental health with social media last year, but it didn't really start last year. I feel like it was years in the making, but it definitely had deeper there was a deeper root into this, and I wrote about this on my Substack. That it was an article that I shared about. The name of it is I was letting social media dictate my life, which was just like me, I guess, in a way trying to keep up with the Joneses, like that saying. And I was comparing myself with what I was seeing online and what people were living. And so, for example, like I would see someone go on a trip, and then I would tell my husband, like, oh, I want to go on a trip. Or I would see someone's like, oh, they went to go eat at this restaurant. And I was like, man, I want to go eat at this restaurant. Like just always comparing myself with what I was seeing online. And yeah, it definitely took a toll on my mental health. And so, in addition to me getting the diagnosis of PTSD and focusing on my mental health, like the social media aspect of it was taking a toll on me. And so that's also an added reason why I took a break in 2024 from social media, so I could just solely focus on my well-being, physically, mentally, spiritually, right? And this negative impact on mental health is definitely not solely for TikTok. This goes with Instagram, Facebook, and everything else, because a lot of people are sharing a lot of their lives, right, online. Since social media started, we do share a lot of our lives online, and some people share a little bit too much, but they're comfortable with sharing that, and trying to be honest and transparent. But the whole comparison thing is very, very easy to do when it comes to social media, and it is something that I have experienced and have to work through. But after no, I'm still doing the therapy work, but after doing that intense, therapy work that I did last year, I've been able to just focus on my journey and focus on what I'm posting, focus on the achievements that I've gotten, to try to inspire and motivate others to launch their podcast, launch their online business, and things like that. But since there was so much going on internally, social media did affect my mental health in a negative way. So there's my little story in regards to that. So let's go on now with Instagram. So, Instagram is a visual first social media platform focused on photos and video sharing. It allows users to post photos and videos on their feed, temporary stories, which they expire after 24 hours, and longer form videos or reels. So, the reels, I believe you can post up to 3 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. So, obviously, TikTok has a long form content of 10 minutes, right? So that's a little bit of difference of the both between the two. And so some pros with Instagram is, the visual appeal. So the platform is ideal for showcasing products, art, photography, and personal aesthetics. High engagement. So it boosts high engagement rates, making it a powerful tool for businesses and brands to connect with their audience. Influencer marketing. It is the primary hub for influencer marketing, allowing brands to reach new audience through collaborations. And the versatile content format. So you can have features like the stories, the reels, you can post live on there. And then you can also do like just pictures or like posts. And there's many ways to create and share content. And then obviously with Instagram, there's also like the DMs feature. You can also have a broadcast channel now. You can create groups. So, like messaging groups in the DMs, you can create those. I've been a part. I haven't created my own, but I've been a part of a few, or I still am a part of a few group messaging. And yeah, some of the cons when it comes to Instagram, it's highly competitive. The platform is highly saturated with both personal and business accounts, making it difficult to stand out without a clear strategy. Isn't that the truth? You always need a strategy when it comes to Instagram, which is kind of annoying at times, but that's a topic for another day. All right, the constant need for content. To maintain visibility, users need to post high quality, engaging content regularly, which can be time consuming. Say that twice. Distorted reality. The curated nature of the platform can lead to social comparison, which I just shared, self esteem issues, as people often only share their perfect moments. Algorithm changes. The platform's algorithm changes frequently, which can impact a user's reach and engagement, requiring continuous adaptation. That is very true. I've seen that a lot when it comes to stories. If you post a lot of stories at a time, like back to back, the reach is not that good. And so it's been said that like you need to let your stories expire. So wait 24 hours to then be able to post a new story to get more reach. And I have seen that before in my content. I also saw someone on Threads saying like, well, if people are not listening or watching all your stories, it's probably because the first one sucked. And it's like, well, geez, thanks. Thanks for letting me know that my content is not that great. But yeah, there's always like tweaks and like different strategies and things that you need to do on Instagram to be able to gain as much reach. It seems like it's always constantly changing. I always tried not to keep up with the trends and like try to just create my own content and create content that is authentic to me. And I don't know, since I was younger, like I've never been one to just like follow what was popular or follow the crowd, or I always try to do like the opposite of what everyone is doing. So say, I think I approach the same thing within my business. It's like, okay, if everybody's doing this, I'm like, no, I want to do something else. Um, and yeah, so with Instagram, I started using Instagram. Oh my goodness, I think when it first came out, I think it came out in like 2009. And it was just a picture sharing platform. And I absolutely loved it. And I actually was using Instagram to then post into my Facebook. So that's what I thought it was. I thought it was like another way to share pictures on Facebook, but it actually ended up it was its own platform. And so yeah, I remember the very early days of Instagram where it was just pictures. And then I remember when they came out with their stories, it reminded me of Snapchat. And I was like, oh, Instagram is just copying Snapchat. Like, I'm not going to use stories ever. And so for the longest time, I was determined to not use stories and just post what I wanted to post on Snapchat because I had Snapchat at the time. No longer have that. And so, yeah, so Instagram has definitely changed throughout the years, and it's going to continue to change. And in order to stay relevant on the app, you do need to change with it. And so a lot of people, it seems like that's a lot of people's like main choice of social media platform. But again, there's so many choices out there that you don't have to use Instagram to grow your business. Again, you can use TikTok, you can use any of the others. And yeah, so definitely, see what you like or dislike about it, and see if it works for you and your goals. Now, I forgot to mention my experience with TikTok. So when TikTok first came out, again, I didn't want to have to deal with another social media platform and keep up with it. So again, I was like not hesitant, but I was just like, no, everyone's using it. I don't want to use it. Again, trying not to follow the crowd or the trends. But I kept hearing about like all the things that they were learning on TikTok and how entertaining it was. And so eventually I gave in. But I can't even remember when I joined TikTok, to be completely honest, because I wasn't really using it seriously for my business. I would just repost my video clips from my podcast, my other podcast, The American Dream and the Eyes of Immigrants, and then I would just post those small clips on there. But now that I started this podcast and I've expanded my business to online coaching, I am using TikTok now more. I'm taking it more serious, posting on there more frequently and with intention. And I have noticed that with TikTok, like you don't have to be as polished as you do with Instagram. TikTok is more like random. I don't even want to say random, but it's just like you don't have to be like all made up or whatever. It's just like really authentic, really, okay, this is my thought. Here we go type of content. And I really enjoyed that, especially for the month of September. I'm actually I've given myself a challenge, or actually, my business coach has given me a challenge. She wants me to speak more Spanish in my content. And so, she was also talking to me about TikTok and how she posted for 30 days and the engagements and the sales that she was able to do. So I was like, okay, let's see how September goes for me. So for the month of September, I am actually posting a podcasting tip every single day. And I've been so comfortable just recording a short video, less than 60 seconds, saying the podcasting tip of the day. And like some of the videos, like my hair's not done and my makeup's not done. And it's just like providing value and that's it. And just posting on there. Like I don't feel that pressure of being put well together for TikTok than what Instagram is. And I posted it on Threads, and there were some people that like, yes, they were like, yeah, like that's because they're different platforms, but yeah, that's like the feel that you get with TikTok versus Instagram. And someone did mention that like the algorithm again is pushes more on TikTok than what it does on Instagram. So has been my little experience with TikTok versus Instagram. Which one do I prefer more? I feel like with Instagram, it is easier to really create a community with Instagram versus TikTok, because for some reason it feels like TikTok was just like a bunch of strangers. Not saying that there aren't strangers on Instagram, but I don't know. I just feel like there's just more of a community sense to Instagram than TikTok. Let me know your thoughts. Leave me a comment or the message thing that I had mentioned earlier, and let me know your feel between TikTok and Instagram. All right, now let's get into Facebook. So Facebook, I think, is probably the oldest. Actually, no, Google Gemini did say, okay, so Facebook is the oldest and largest social media platforms, connecting friends, family, and communities worldwide. It supports a wide range of content, including text posts, photos, videos, live stream, and events. It's widely used for personal networking, community building through groups, and and business marketing via pages. Okay, so Facebook came out, and actually, why does 2009 keep coming to mind? But that's when I said Instagram came out. Okay, so when Facebook first came out, I think it was 2007. When Facebook first came out, it was a college only social media thing. So, like, only college students were the ones who were using it. And I was in high school at the time. And so I remember my cousin was showing me about her Facebook page and everything. And I was like, oh, what is this? Because at the time, MySpace was the social media platform to be on, right? So I was always on MySpace or AOL. AOL Instant Messenger I am. And so then yeah, then Facebook came out, but it was like only for college students. And so she was showing me because she was at college at the time and I was still in high school. And I was like, yeah, but I don't think I should get a Facebook because it's only for college. She was like, no, it should be fine. And so yeah, more of my friends started getting Facebook. And so then I was like, okay, let's try this out. And so then we slowly shifted from being on MySpace all the time to being on Facebook and then Facebook IM and things like that. So yeah, so I remember the very, very early days of Facebook, how it was like strictly for college students. And then it just became for everybody, and then now it just feels like it's for old people. That's what I hear the young the young users of social media say. Like, my little sister doesn't have Facebook because they have TikTok. Like, they don't need Facebook. So now Facebook has transitioned to us millennials, but we're not old. So yeah, that's what they say, that it's like for old people. So I guess those of us that started with Facebook, we're still there. I've tried to like stop using Facebook and just like not post on there, but honestly, I have so many memories on Facebook, and I still I'm still connected with people from high school and long distance family members and things like that. So that's probably why I still have Facebook, and honestly, like, I still enjoy it. So anyways, let's get into the pros and cons. So, pros: unparalleled reach. With massive and diverse user base, it offers an incredible potential audience or for business and individuals. I don't know about this Google Gemini because um I don't think I have a big reach on my Facebook when I post my business stuff. But again, that could just be my content. Targeted advertisement. Its ads platform allows for highly specific targeting based on demographics, interests, and behaviors, making it very effective for marketing. Yes, I have heard that Facebook ads and Instagram ads are really, really good when you know how to set them up. So it's best to hire an expert on ads to be able to set up the ads correctly to be successful. I've heard a lot of that. I've used Facebook ads before unsuccessfully because again, I didn't hire an expert and I was just winging it. Waste of money. All right, another pro is community building. So Facebook groups provide a space for like-minded people to connect, share ideas, and build communities around specific interests. Yes. So one of the tips that I always give people when they're starting their podcast is to join Facebook groups for podcasting, but to be able to find podcasts to be a guest on, or if they're looking for guests to be on their show. Like, this is literally how I started finding guests for my first podcast, The American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants. I joined those groups and I posted about my new podcast and, say like it's what it's about, what guests I'm looking for, which are immigrants to share their immigration story. And literally that's how I was able to find all my guests in the beginning until eventually, like, they would refer guests out to me, or I was going to networking events and finding guests like that. But yes, Facebook groups are really, really great for the community building. I will say that. All right, let's get into the cons. All right, so privacy concerns. The platform has a long history of privacy scandals and data leaks. Oh, Mark, which can make users hesitant to share personal information. But honestly, if you think about it, everything that you do outside of your house, I mean, I know that the social media and the internet is technically in your house, but it's like out there. Anything that you do outside of your house, like you really don't have any privacy, you guys. Like everything when as soon as you step outside your house, like everything is recorded, you're being monitored all the time. Like there's not really privacy outside of your house if you really, really think about it. But I definitely understand the privacy concerns. Completely get it. All right, algorithm prioritization. There goes my English. Its algorithm increasingly prioritizes content from friends and family over business pages, leading to a decline in organic reach for brands. Okay, well, that makes sense as to why when I said earlier, I was like, I don't think my business reach is all that good. Well, there you go. Thank you, Gemini, for answering my question. Misinformation and hate speech. Oh boy. The sheer volume of content makes it a breeding ground for rapid spread of misinformation, fake news, and hate speech. And this goes for both ways because I've seen people post stuff and it's not even like bad, and they get flagged on Facebook, and then they're like, oh, why is this getting flagged? I don't know what their standard is, but yeah, that's all messed up. Time consuming. The platform can be very addictive and time consuming due to the endless stream of content, games, and videos, just like every other platform. All right, let's move into X, which was formerly called Twitter. So, X is a text based real time social media platform focused on short, concise messages called posts. They used to be called tweets. It's known for its role in breaking news, public discourse, and live events commentary. It allows for quick communication and the rapid spread of information. So, again, I remember Twitter in the early days, and I wrote an article about it because when Threads came out in 2023, 2022, I can't remember, but when Threads first came out, it reminded me of the early days of Twitter. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, like I love this because after Twitter became X, I stopped using it because the vibe just changed completely. Okay, so the early days of, of Twitter. So Twitter was very popular, especially when there was like live events going on. So like sports games, I think concerts or like competitions, like people were like live tweeting, in real time, or like award ceremonies, like people were live tweeting in real time, and then like they could use hashtags, and then sometimes it would come out on TV, which was so cool. And so I remember my husband and I used to watch a TV show, the reality TV show Married at First Sight. And I used to love live tweeting while we were watching because it felt like you were watching with the other people together, right? And so like you would read people's tweets and comments and see who agreed and who didn't agree, and then you used to use the hashtag. And so then I remember I used to read the tweets to my husband, and then we used to like either agree or disagree, and it was a whole thing. But the very early days of Twitter, again, high school, this was the time where like the smartphones weren't as smart, so like you didn't really have apps for social media. So I remember me and my friends, we all got Twitter, I think around the same time, and we actually used to text our tweets. And again, I wrote about this in the article. So there was a phone number that you used to text your tweet of what you wanted to come up on Twitter, and but then you could also sign up to get the tweets from your followers to your phone. So instead of like texting each other, he and my friend were like tweeting each other. So we would, oh my gosh. So again, like throughout school, right? You used to send a tweet through the text message, and then your friends would get the text message with the tweet. And so I remember also like after school, right? We will always tweet. And then I remember one of my friends was like, I can't remember who she said it to. She was like, I need y'all to control your tweets tonight because I was trying to sleep, but y'all kept tweeting. And it was just so funny because we were all getting the text messages. So that was like really, really early days of Twitter. And then obviously the phones all came out with the app and you were able to tweet from your phone. And then also there was this thing for like subtweeting where like you were like talking about somebody but you weren't really saying their name. And so like people were like trying to figure out like who you were talking about. That was a whole other thing. But it seemed like yeah, it was just seemed like it was a place where you could like share openly your thoughts in real time about anything really, and then you use the hashtags right to like connect with other people or connect with whatever topic you were talking about. So, oh, I also used to love live tweeting with basketball games. Oh my god, my family, we're all huge basketball fans, and so we follow the oh my gosh, the Golden State Warriors. Jeez. We follow them. So like during the finals or just regular games, but especially during the finals, I used to love live tweeting yeah, about like the refs or the play or whatever. Like that was so much fun. Oh my god. I miss Twitter. I miss Twitter. Okay. Cons about Twitter, the X, sorry, that it or sorry, I didn't even say the pros. Okay, so pros, real-time information is it's an excellent source of breaking news and staying updated on current events as they happen. Direct communication, it allows for direct communication with public speakers, brands, and journalists. I don't know about that because I feel like I've been able to connect more with like public speakers on threads versus Twitter. But that's just me. High virality High virality and public disclosure. The platform structure with reposts and quotes can lead to posts going viral instantly, shaping public conversation. Ease of use. It's simple and easy to navigate with a focus on short form text. The cons: hate speech and harassment. The platform's open nature and emphasis on okay, the platform's open nature can make it a hotbed for targeted harassment, bullying, and hate speech, misinformation. The speed of which information spreads on X also makes it highly susceptible to the rapid sharing of false or unverified information. There goes my English again. Pay to verify model. The introduction of a subscription model for verification has been criticized for leading mistrust and creating a less credible environment. I had no idea that they even had that any now. Mental health impact. The fast paced and often continuous environment can contribute to stress and anxiety for user. I forgot to mention there was one point where I did stop using Twitter. Again, this was before it became X. There was a point in time where I did stop using Twitter altogether. I used it for like I stopped using it for a few years. And then when I came back to Twitter to use it again, there was so much porn on there. I was like, what happened to Twitter? Like, what is going on? I was like, this is not what I want to see when I go on here. So I ended up having to like unfollow a bunch of accounts that were reposting the porn. And I'm just like, how did Twitter get filled with porn? Like, how did this happen? But yeah, anyways, that was one of my experiences using Twitter. All right, let's go into Threads. So, Threads is a text based social media platform launched by Meta as a direct competitor to X. It is closely integrated with Instagram, allowing users to easily import their followers and profile information. Its focus is on real time conversations and public sharing, mirroring the functionality of X. So, yes, Threads, again, when I first started using Threads or when it first came out, it definitely gave me that early days of Twitter feel, which I absolutely love. I'm a writer at heart, and so I express myself better in writing, which is why I love Twitter so much and why I love Threads so much. And that is where I've seen a lot more success in my marketing is on Threads because right now, since it's still such a newer platform, the algorithm is still really, really good. So it does pushes out your content. You're able to connect with other people. I mean, I found guests and clients on Threads. I feel like I'm able to connect better with people on there. And then like the more that you engage with other people, like the more the platform pushes out your content, which is amazing. That's what you want, right? You want eyes on your content. And so, yeah, I'm finding it to the algorithm being very, very good on Threads. We don't know how long this is going to last, obviously. Like, they're always making changes to the algorithm and things like that. And so, right now, there's not a lot of ads on there, which we're really hoping that it stays like that for a while. But then again, all these social media platforms, they just want to make money. And so I did see a few sponsored posts on there, but not too much. So we'll see how long that lasts. So, pros: seamless integration with Instagram. Users can easily transform their followers from Instagram and provide a built in audience from day one. Potential for organic engagements, just like I mentioned. As a newer platform, it offers a chance for early adapters to build a presence and gain organic traffic easily. It's very true. Similar interface. The text based format is intuitive for users familiar with platforms like X or Twitter, like I mentioned. Strong community potential. The close ties to Instagram communities can foster a more positive and connected environment. So, some of the cons: account deletion issues. Oh, yes, because the your account for Threads is connected to the Instagram. So initially, users could not delete their Thread accounts without also deleting their linked Instagram account. And this has been updated, but it still highlights the platform's tight integration. Lack of features. It launched without key features like desktop version or competitive analytics. Also, some have been added. Sorry, also has been added post launch. So yes, I have used Threads on my laptop, so the desktop version, which I actually don't mind. Um, Uncertain features: as a relatively new platform, its long form visibility and ability to retain users remain to be seen. Privacy concern, well, yeah, privacy concerns because it is attached to Meta. So the privacy concerns were it's going to be the same with Instagram, Facebook, Meta, and Threads. Meta is the parent company. Threads and WhatsApp, because those are all Meta. But honestly, I truly, truly enjoy Threads. Like I said, I can express myself better in writing than what I do like video content or things like that. And yeah, the community and the connections that I've made on Threads have been all organic and has been intentional too. So I love it. They did just recently add the DM feature to Threads, so you can private message people, which before you would have to, if you want to continue the conversation, whether it is with a guest to be on a podcast or a client to, book a call, whatever, you would then have to go to their Instagram page and then send them a DM. But now Threads has the DM feature within its own platform. So that's, some people think that's bad, some people think it's good. It's whatever, your preferences. I don't mind it, to be honest. All right, and the last social media platform that we are going to talk about is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is always seen as like a more corporate platform, right? So the description that Google Gemini is giving is: LinkedIn is a professional networking platform used for career development, job searching, and connecting with industry peers. It's a place for users to showcase their professional experience, skills, and accomplishments. It also serves as a platform for companies to recruit for professionals to share industry news and insights. So yes, that is exactly what LinkedIn is for. I do use LinkedIn. I do share my blog posts. I do share my accomplishments. It's like an online resume, really. LinkedIn is. So you share, all your professional achievements and things like that. So some of the pros is the professional networking. It's the premier platform for connecting with colleagues, industry leaders, and potential employers. Career opportunities. It's an essential tool for job searching with vast listings and direct line to recruiters. I have not gotten a job through LinkedIn, but I know that there's a lot of people that have, and there's also coaches that do help professionals find jobs through LinkedIn. Thought leadership. It provides a space to share expertise, articles, insights, establish users as experts in their field. B2B marketing. For businesses, it is highly effective for B2B sales, lead generation, and target advertising to a professional audience. I have gotten guests on LinkedIn, which was really cool. And yeah, I've connected with other professionals in different industries, and I enjoy it. I don't spend too much time, like that's not the main platform that I use to market, but I do have it. I do use it. I will say that my main platforms right now are TikTok, Threads, and Instagram. Those are the three that I really enjoy using for marketing, and obviously my podcast. Right, my podcast is definitely used for marketing my online business coaching. So okay, cons: The hustle culture vibe. The platform can sometimes feel like a constant display of professional achievements, which can lead to feeling of inadequacy. Content algorithm. The algorithm can sometimes prioritize controversial or overly inspirational content over substantive professional insight. Man, Google Gemini, I'm going to have to ask you to dumb down these words. Not dumb down the words, but like words that I can actually pronounce. You are really showing right now how my English is not very good looking sometimes. Okay, paywall or premium features. Many of the most powerful network and job seeking tools are locked behind a paid premium subscription, which can be a barrier to some users. Yes, I've been asked by LinkedIn all the time if I want to upgrade to premium to like get more features and so on. I'm like, no, thank you. And going back to the content algorithm, I will say that when I first started using LinkedIn for my business, my reach was a lot higher than what it is now. It seems like over time they've like lowered my reach. Like I was getting like over thousands and thousands of reach when I first started marketing my business on there, but then like now it's just in the hundreds. And I don't know if it's because they want me to update to premium to like be able to push my content more, but I will say that I did notice that with my own experience. All right, spam and scams. Like other platforms, it is not immune to issues with spam, irrelevant messages, or scam profiles. Oh my god, yes. I cannot tell you why everybody from Bangladesh is a podcast promoter. Why are all the users from Bangladesh podcast promoters? I cannot tell you how many messages I've gotten or follow requests or connection requests from Bangladesh that they want to promote my podcast. I'm like, seriously? Like this is yeah. So definitely spam and scams is definitely high on LinkedIn. All right, you guys. So those are the social media platforms. Those are the pros and cons. I've shared a little bit of my experience with using each platform. When starting your online business, it is always just best to know who your target audience is and where they're hanging out. So, like again, if your target audience is, the younger generation, I don't really know the generation name, so I'm not even gonna try. But I know that the youngest generation, like my little sister, like and her friends, like they're all on TikTok. So if your business is gonna target a younger audience, you should be on TikTok. But if your market audience is millennials or older, then you probably want to try Instagram and Facebook because that's where they're at. I mean, the young people already say that the old people hang out on Facebook, right? They don't have Facebook. So it's definitely very important to know who your target audience is and where do they hang out, what social media platform are they using the most, so then you can go ahead and create content for that market. You do not have to use all of them at once like I do. No, you don't have to do that. It's always highly suggested to start with one or two, focus on growing on there, and then you can expand to other social media platforms. So for example, I'm actually focused on three. So my three ones, like I mentioned, are Threads, Instagram, and now TikTok. I'm really starting to enjoy video creation and creating content like that. Again, I still very much enjoy writing, but I've been mixing up the content that I'm creating. So those are the threes that I am working on now. Again, for starting your online business, you definitely want to do market research and see where your target audience are hanging out, and then use those platforms to grow and market your business. And again, you can apply for coaching. The link is in the show notes in the show description to work with me one on one. And let's get your online business started. Or you can also do the UBC course, which the link is also in the show notes and show description for signing up for that. And then there's also also the workbook in my stand store on starting your online business, and then also what is digital marketing. So both of those are in there. Again, links are in the show notes and show description. Thank you once again for being with me every single week, for listening, learning about digital marketing, and learning from me, your coach, Heidi de la Cruz. So let me know, message me, send me a comment, leave a rating on Apple or a review on Spotify, and I will see you next week.